Instagram data leak exposes sensitive information of 17.5 million accounts. A significant security breach has compromised approximately 17.5 million Instagram user accounts, exposing sensitive personal information that is now circulating on the dark web. The incident, reported earlier this week by cybersecurity firm Malwarebytes, raised urgent concerns about user privacy and account security. So, cybercriminals can use this information to craft convincing messages that appear to come from Instagram or Meta, potentially tricking users into revealing passwords or other sensitive credentials. The seller, identified as Subkek, claims that data was freshly scraped in the last 3 months of 2024 via public APIs and country-specific sources. Update. Instagram has officially addressed the concerns about suspicious password reset emails sent to some users in a statement posted on X, formerly Twitter. I do think it's funny they didn't post this on Instagram. Maybe they did. I really didn't check that much, but we fixed an issue that let an external party request password reset emails for some people. There was no breach of our systems, and your Instagram accounts are secure. You can ignore those emails. Sorry for the confusion. Instagram emphasized that no security breach. You just got a random password reset email from Instagram this week. You weren't being paranoid to worry about it, because 17.5 million Instagram users just had their most sensitive personal information dumped on dark web forums for anyone to buy. Supposedly, it's a little complicated, but we're talking usernames, email addresses, phone numbers, and physical addresses. Everything a cybercriminal needs to completely ruin your life. Meta finally broke their silence and said, oops, just a bug, nothing to worry about. Your accounts are totally secure. But here's the thing. Your data is being sold on the dark web right now, and they want you to just ignore it. But here's the part that should terrify you even more. This is exactly what's going to keep happening when platforms force you to hand over government IDs and biometric data just to use something like social media. And half the United States just made that mandatory, and the UK is doing similar things. We're seeing it in Australia, all over the world. So let me break down this entire mess, because there are two competing stories here, and neither one is good. So on January 7th, 2026, a data set appeared on Breach Forums, which is a notorious dark web marketplace, posted by a threat actor using the alias Solonic. Their listing was titled Instagram.com 17 million global users 2024 API leak. And it contained 17.5 million user records and is being offered for free just for anyone to grab. The compromised data included usernames, full names, email addresses, phone numbers, partial physical addresses, and user IDs. Everything structured in organized JSON fields that make it incredibly easy for criminals to build comprehensive profiles and launch targeted attacks. Then, starting January 8th, Instagram users worldwide started getting flooded with password reset emails they never requested. Millions of people, all at once, getting legitimate Instagram password reset notifications. And for 3 days, Meta said absolutely nothing. No statement, no security advisory, just radio silence while panic spread all across social media, as it does. Finally, on January 11th, Instagram posted a statement on X, not Instagram, maybe it's on Instagram, I didn't look that closely, but saying they fixed an issue that let an external party request password reset emails for some people, claiming there was no breach of our systems and your Instagram accounts are secure. You can ignore those emails. Just oops, sorry for the confusion. That's their response to 17.5 million people's data being traded on dark web forums. Now, let me explain what I think actually happened here from a technical perspective, because Meta's trying to play semantic games here. According to Meta, this wasn't a breach. It was an exploit of their password reset system. So what's the difference? A traditional data breach is when hackers break into a company's internal system and steal data directly. think of it as like somebody just breaking into a bank vault, right? What happened here is different. This is an API exploit combined with data scraping. An API, also known as an application programming interface, is basically a set of rules that lets different software talk to each other, like a messenger system running in the background of every application. Hopefully that analogy makes sense. It's tough because I use APIs, I know how they work, but explaining what they are can be a little difficult. So let me know if you have like a better analogy to explain the API communication that happens. Anyway, because the criminals didn't just break into Instagram's servers. Instead, they automated Instagram's own password reset feature at a massive scale. And they had a list of, like I said, 17.5 million email addresses likely scraped through API vulnerabilities back in 2024. Not a good thing. And they used that list to trigger the password reset emails for all of them simultaneously. So think of it like this. Imagine if someone had a list of addresses and used the Postal Service's own system to send mail to all those addresses at once. We all get this stupid scam mail, right? All the stupid letters that are like, you want to buy a car? Buy a car. I don't know. I like most of my mail is just junk mail, honestly. Well, if we take that analogy, they didn't break into the post office. They just abused a legitimate service, right? So the vulnerability was in Instagram's rate limiting. So the system that's supposed to prevent someone from making too many requests too fast, either had a bug or was too weak, letting attackers bypass it entirely. So Meta's defense of we didn't get hacked, we just had a bug that lets someone abuse our password reset feature is technically a defense, but there's a major problem because those email addresses, phone numbers, and physical addresses that are currently up on the dark web had to come from somewhere, and that somewhere was Instagram's API back in 2024. So the attackers found insecure API endpoints and use automated tools to extract user profile information at massive scale, or they just have really good web scraping capabilities. Like, just any number of things could have happened, but at the end of the day, they had to have all of that information to put it up on the dark web and to exploit APIs with Instagram a couple of days ago. Like, does this make sense? So Meta is technically correct here that there wasn't a new breach this week, but they're being deliberately misleading. The data breach happened in 2024, and what happened this week was just criminals weaponizing the data stolen. So now let's talk about why I don't think you should buy Meta's reassurances, because first, it took them 3 days to respond. That's not the response time of a company that has things under control. They also haven't addressed the actual data set. Like, their statements talk about the password reset bug, but they're completely silent on the 17.5 million user records currently available on breach forums. They won't confirm or deny whether that data is real or explain how it was obtained. And third, this follows a pattern. In November, just 2 months earlier, another leak exposed 489 million Instagram user records. That just isn't a one-time mistake. It's a systemic failure. And Meta's track record just speaks for itself. This is the same company that got fined 405 million euros in 2022 for exposing children's data on Instagram. Their cybersecurity experts have verified that the Solenic dataset is real. They've analyzed samples and confirmed the data structures matches Instagram's API responses. Meta's statement is designed to minimize and deflect. They're saying your accounts are secure when they should be saying, yes, your data was scraped from our systems in 2024 and now criminals are using it to target you, but they're not going to say that, right? And here's why I really think this should terrify you even more than just with Instagram, because imagine this happens to identity verification databases, because it does, right? And it is happening. Discord recently revealed 70,000 users may have had their government IDs leaked through a third-party verification vendor. Authentics, a identity verification company used by TikTok, Uber, and X, exposed driver's licenses and identity documents. The dating app had 13,000 selfies and photo IDs exposed. Every time we're told to hand over more and more identifying information for our safety, that information just becomes a bigger target, and when it gets stolen, the damage is permanent. Because here's what's happening right now. As of early 2026, over 20 states have passed age verification laws requiring you to submit government IDs or biometric data just to access social media and online content. Under laws like Texas's, you'll be required to upload government ID or authorize a credit charge to prove your age. These laws force you to connect your real-world identity to your browsing activity, and all of that has to be stored somewhere, right? I mean, these data seen driver's license number, advocates at the electronic frontier to access basic online services is just catastrophic. Directly to Instagram by typing the URL yourself. But Brian explained that these laws don't protect databases that will be breached. You can point to the Instagram League, the Discord League, the organizations like Electronic. Most people have no idea the Instagram situation exposed that got weaponized in 2026, and Meta's response was to just ignore it. It just tells you everything is our problems. I guess it just decided wasn't going to give me any alert that things just decided to stop recording. Anyway, where was I? So, what do we do about this? First, you want to protect yourself from the Instagram situation. Change your Instagram password manually through the app. Don't click email links. Enable two-factor authentication using an authenticator app, not SMS, because SMS can be compromised through SIM swapping. And review what devices are logged into your account in Meta's Account Center. Be suspicious of any emails or messages claiming to be from Instagram. If you need to take action, go directly to Instagram by typing the URL yourself. Check if your email has been compromised using Have I Been Pwned or monitor for suspicious activity. But beyond protecting yourself from this specific incident, we need to fight back against identity verification mandates. Contact your state representatives, tell them you oppose age verification laws, and explain that these laws don't protect children. They endanger everyone by creating massive databases that will be breached. You can point to the Instagram leak, Discord leak, Authentics leaks, because this is happening right now. Because here's the reality. Data breaches aren't rare anomalies. They're the inevitable result of creating massive centralized databases of sensitive information. The Instagram situation exposed 17.5 million users' information through API scraping in 2024 that got weaponized in 2026. Meta's response was just ignore it. Everything's fine. Trust us. But everything is not fine. Your data is on dark web forums right now, and the next identity verification database breach could expose hundreds of millions of government IDs, biometric scans, browsing histories. Meta's nothing to see here response tells you everything you need to know about how much these companies care about your data. They don't. And the rush to implement identity verification laws also tells you everything you need to know about how much governments understand the security implications. They don't. Your digital identity is already being traded on dark web forums. Don't let them force you to hand over even more. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace out. Bye.